Hello my friends and welcome to live coverage of GP Bologna. We are getting underway with round number 2 here. It is MTG launch. I'm your host Riley Knight. I'm joined by the inestimable Mr. Rich Hagen to my left and to my right. It is the Hall of Famer Raphael Levy. Raf, great to have you along this morning as well. On your screens, Christoph Huber, Florian Krauer and Adrian Vogt, going up against Alessandro Portaro, Luca Casadei and Giannato Del Faro. We're going to start with Portaro and Huber. And Raf, we've got a Mesa Unicorn to kick things off. Blue-white, a deck that I know you've drafted. I've watched you draft. What are your thoughts on this color pair going into the format?
So, what I would say about the format, it's very different from other formats you may know from before, in the way that 2-drops are a little different. They are mostly underpowered in this format. They have very little ability to pump themselves. They mostly remain 2-2. So when they have a little extra, such as a lifelink, for example, for a Mesa Unicorn, it's a little plus, but in the end, it's not what's going to matter in the long run.
Yes, I think PV, so Paulo Vitor Damato Rose, the Brazilian superstar, wrote an article about his thoughts on Dominaria Seal. Just went up today, I believe, and in that he was saying that 2-drops are less important in this format than in others. Portaro has had a nice little curve here, though. He's curved a Divination into an Icy Manipulator. That's a blast from the past.
1997 Ice Age?
What?
Somewhere around there.
Oh, wait, before. It's from Beta.
Oh, sure. Okay. I first came across it in Ice Age.
It was the little Icy Ball.
Yeah.
First.
So I did not know how to multiply or divide when this card was first printed. It's been around a long time. And I tell you what, Raf, it is no less of a powerhouse today than it was back then.
Oh, that picture.
There you go.
That was one of the most sought-after cards back in the days. It was uncommon, but it was...
And it really does a ton of work in Dominaria as well. One of the cards that I think, even Coverage's own Frank Carsten would be very, very happy to first pick here.
So, are we going to see Upkeep Tap Your Mountain? Because that's what it does, too. When people talk about Icy Manipulator, they say it takes care of creatures, of blockers, of attackers. But the hidden line on the Icy Manipulator, it's also a land destruction card.
Basically, it locks down essentially their best permanent all the time, always.
In that case, it's probably going to be a mountain. Since Alessandro could keep it to tap a potential blocker, but since he doesn't have any creatures, he's most likely going to tap a mountain every upkeep.
Nope. Okay, Huber gives him the opportunity to do it, but Portaro says, no, man, you're all good. You can have some of that red mana. Unless
he has something else to play with the 5 mana. Maybe... Well, Syncopate wouldn't make any sense, because if he taps a mountain, he... that's the mana used as... Like he wouldn't use the mana he used for the Icy in the Syncopate.
Oh dear, and punished in the worst way here, Alessandro Portaro with a 5 mana shatter there. Oh dear.
Yeah, now talk about hidden line of text.
Yeah.
It's that bottom one on Fiery Intervention. That's the first time I've actually seen that destroy an artifact.
But Fire Intervention is just one of these cards that it's so fantastic, and I think really emblematic of Dominaria Limited, because not only is it a very powerful removals, but I mean a bit clunky at 5 mana, but it kills more or less anything you pointed at, and it's highly, highly splashable. And Raf, this is one of the things you were saying was really, really key in this format.
Another thing about Fire Intervention, in other formats, it would not be as good, because 5 mana to take care of a creature, usually the creatures are overpowered. For example, 2, 3, and 4 drops, they're just too cheap and too effective until you reach 5 mana. They would have done their work. However, in this format, the cheap drops are not that good, so you can't afford to wait to have 5 mana to take care of a bigger creature. So the 5 mana you invest in the Fear Intervention is going to be worth it, since you're going to take care of a bigger threat.
At the start of the show this morning with Tim Willoughby and Frank Carsten, we were talking about the speed of the format and how this is a format where potentially the early game can take quite a while, and life totals don't necessarily change an awful lot. And here we are, 6 mana on both sides, 5 mana on the other side, and still 20-18, and not a lot of action so far.
So basically the 2 drops you play in control decks are there to make sure you don't lose to aggressive draws. There are a few decks that can take over the game by turn 2 or 3, when you play creature, a pump spell, and then you're far behind if you're playing control. But if the control player has these Mesa Unicorns, then that helps them get to the later game. That's mostly why they're there.
This is not the most powerful, the eldest reborn I've ever seen. It took care of one of the 1/1 soldiers created by Sergeant at Arms there, and now it's going to make Portaro discard a card. But not the choicest of pickings here for the Oldest Reborn.
Yeah, that second ability actually might be reasonable at this part of the game, although he did draw 2 cards with Divination. Now his Divest is actually going properly into discard land.
So now we have Portara holding a hand that isn't looking too fantastic. We've got a Deep Freeze in addition to an Island, so it is Divest proof, but all the same here, not a lot of action on the side of the Italian.
How do you like Deep Freeze, Raf?
I really like it. It's a card that's that blue was missing, that blue really needs, and there are not a lot of ways to take care of it. There's Rescue that can free your creature of the ice, and some enchantment removal. But it's usually blue taps a creature, and doesn't do much else.
Right.
In that case, it just nullifies anything they do. For example, blue would have a hard time in other formats to deal with legends such as the blue-green one, the
Tetsova.
Tetsova. Yeah, it would just tap it, and their opponent would still draw cards.
Tachiova.
Tachiova. Would still draw cards off playing lands. In that case, it would be 0/4 with no ability. So that's something that really helps for blue
Pop in the
players.
freezer, mate. Fish fingers.
Yeah.
Yep. No worries.
Get into the freezer and...
The Deep Freeze isn't that deep, though. I mean, this is something that needs to be addressed with this card. It isn't that deep. It hasn't even covered this poor little goblin's, like, knee and face. It's like a medium freeze.
Well, I don't think deep is about how much you freeze. It's about...
About the temperature.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So that guy's so brittle that his toes would just snap off.
So we just addressed it.
Okay. Well, we solved it. We fixed that problem. Here's the Eldest Reborn going to pop off now. We're going to get a Mesa Unicorn back here. So not so much the Eldest Reborn as perhaps the youngest here.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that card, honestly.
The Eldest Reborn?
Nah.
You don't like it?
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's just done a little good advertisement for why it's not terribly good.
Yeah.
That's
like for 5 mana, it took care of a token that was made of
the Sergeant at Arms there, yeah.
Yeah, and then discarded a land, and then got a 2/2
for 5 mana across 3 turns.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's
Magic. Magic gives you a lot more than that. I mean, especially in a format with all the little 1/1s doing nothing. It happened to be a Sergeant at Arms token this time, but nah.
Fight was Fire. That's a card that's great. That's a card that I did not expect it to be. I did not expect a card like this to be printed.
So if you're playing in this match, if you're on Potara's side of the board and you see that Fight with Fire happen, do you think that red-black deck has a way to get that Fight with Fire back? Or do you just sigh with relief that it's gone away?
I would probably check the graveyard, but since we've seen a... sorry, I'm still struggling in the morning with the names of the cards. The 4-mana draw spell.
Dark Bargain.
Dark Bargain, yeah, sorry. That probably means he has ways to interact with spells.
Gitu Chronicler or something like that. Christoph Huber is just going from strength to strength here. He's keeping Portara's battlefield well and truly under control here. A Fiery Intervention taking care of that Sarah Angel. I bet Portara's like, oh, there's the Fight with Fire. I'm going to slam this 4/4 into play and it's all going to be good. But no, sir. Huber with the answer here. We've seen him deploy a lot of really good removal spells in addition to those we've seen so far. It has been things like Shivan Fire as well early in the game.
Yeah, so I would expect Gitu Chronicler to be in Christoph's deck.
You'd hope so, for his sake.
It turns out if you have 3 of those and plenty of mana, you can do 12 damage with Wizard's Lightning. I did that on Thursday. It was quite disgusting. They weren't happy.
Triple bolt them?
It was like they were... No, quad bolt them.
Oh, quad bolt them.
Yeah, they were on 12, so it was like... Bolt you, 6. Bolt you, 6. Bolt you, 6. Bolt you. Thanks for playing.
Easy. You've broken the format,
Easy
mate.
game.
Easy game. Easy life.
Yeah.
Here's an Academy Drake now. Going to come down. It's quite a considerably sized flyer here. Nice little 4/4, I should say. 4/4 for 7. Not the best rate, but still, I mean, we never say to play a Windrake.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because obviously, can I have a 4/4 flyer this turn? Sure, that's clearly good. But when you tap 7 mana and then you see that what you're left with is a 4/4 flyer with no ability, it always feels a little. Wasn't I meant to get something a bit more for 7? For 7?
I don't know, man. This card does a lot of work, and I think emblematic of the kicker ability in general. It's one of those mechanics, Raph, like cycling, that spiky pros like you just really enjoy because it gives so much more depth to your cards.
It feels like hearing Rich saying stuff like that. It feels like someone complaining about free stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I didn't like the sauce. Like, come on, it was free, it was given to you.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what happens to this Windrake. It's a free thing.
Here's a huge one from Christoph Huber. It's a Siege Gang Commander. This is one of the splashiest of bombs that you're going to see here. This guy is he's been around. He's been around the traps for a long time. Another big throwback here.
From when?
Scourge.
Okay, I was going to say M12, so never mind.
What are you? You're like 13?
I'm nearly 14. Turn 14 next month. Oh dear. But no, old SGC here. It's been getting it done for a long time.
It's Colonel Legion.
Oh dear.
In any case, that dominates the board. Next turn, when he takes care of the Drake.
Yes, Hoover has got so many creatures on the battlefield. He's had to dip into his land pile now for old Siege King Commander here. Looks to be in a very powerful position. His opponent on 11. Not too much going on his board, although he does have this flyer that's consistently chipping away at Hoover's life total.
It's going to take care of 2 goblins.
Yeah.
Unless Alessandro has an adamant will.
Looks like things are going well on the side of the Germans, though. On the back table, we have Florian Krauer and Adrian Vogt both up a game against Luca Casadei and Giannato Del Fara. So the Italians are under siege now.
I've got to say, Riley, I really do love Academy Drake, because what's better than a card that makes your opponent get rid of half of one of their cards that cost less mana? You know, it's pretty spectacular.
There is definitely a lot of...
Well, I didn't get the... Well, what?
I'm just pointing out...
Tell me
I'm just pointing out that 7 mana 4/4 is going to die to half of a Siege Gang commander.
Yeah.
I thought it was a funny thing. No, it's just...
Just an accurate observation.
I was looking for the joke.
Yeah, no.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just delivering the high level MTG strategy, Raph.
I see.
As per normal.
Calico skin, which is going to be blocked by the Soldier at Arms.
Would you have attacked with some goblins here? Because some of them are going to be thrown away, thrown at the Drake. So might as well attack with them.
Just get them in there.
Yep.
Poke through some extra damage if possible.
Yeah. And also, not shooting the Drake. I don't know what Christoph has in hand, but not shooting the Drake on his turn might blow up in his face. Like if he has a pump spell like Adamant Will, for example, he does not want to shoot the Drake on Alessandro's turn.
Because then it's just free damage. It's like when you're playing against Infect, you always want to you always want to do it on your turn so they don't get extra value out of those pump spells. And Adamant Will.
Yeah.
I don't really think it's the will that's doing a lot of the protection here. I feel like it's mostly the shield.
The shield?
I mean, she looks like she knows how to wield it. That's fine, but
yeah.
I mean, it looks like the shield that's doing most of the indestructible stuff there.
But maybe behind the shield, she's busy going, I really don't want to die.
Maybe that's what it is there.
I mean, that's the kind of look on the face, right? It's like,
how about it's actually the will of the shield? No.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, yeah, because it took a month to enchant, and it's the shield that has the adamant will.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what's written.
Yep. Yeah. Read the card.
Read the card, indeed.
Read the card. All right, let's keep things going. Alessandro Portaro, he's committing more and more unimpressive 2-drops to the board here.
So that's exactly what happened. Christoph shot the Drake on Alessandro's turn.
We'll take Servant. One of the, I would say, more frustrating cards to play with on Magic Online.
Sure. It's also very frustrating to play against because every turn they get to untap something. And it's like, oh, go away. Of course, Traxos is what you want.
Yes, Traxos, Icy, lots of stuff to get it done with.
Yep.
But when there's no other artifacts, every turn you have to click it.
Have you done it with Urza's Tome?
No.
Oh, that's filthy.
Oh, yeah.
That's so good when you're digging away. It's I'll just have a look here. Yeah, discard a land. Oh, sure, get rid of Historic out my graveyard. Let's untap it at end of turn, thanks. Yeah, great.
Well,
so these tokens,
none of those shenanigans right now.
They don't want to get in there. But like at this point, I understand. It's 2, 5, 6 damage.
So Portaro takes a bunch here.
Since the Knight of Malice. I know it's only. Oh yeah, it's a 3-2 because now because the good thing about these knights, back in the days, cards like these, they would only count your opponents. Your opponents' black cards, white cards, swamps, plains. Like in was it an Invasion, the Crusaders?
Right, because they were designed to sort of punish your opponent for allying yourself with a particular color.
So you would be you would only count your opponent's swamps or your opponent's white cards, for example. This one,
she doesn't care.
No,
she getting angry. Doesn't matter where she sees a white permanent.
And you can target it with white spells.
And Alessandro Portaro has had more than enough of what's going on here. He's going to pack him up, and this means that Hubert Krauer and Vogt move to 1-1-1. It is looking like a clean sweep so far for the people on the right-hand side of your screen. Done very well indeed here. Portaro, Casadei, and Delfara under the pump here. Haven't picked up a single game. Of course, they've all won their first round. No buys in a Team GP. That means that every win you see on the board is a win earned by these teams. There's no sleep-in special here, Raf.
So we're going to head across to our middle table. This has got Florian Krau already with a Slimefoot the Stowaway in the bin. And we've arrived just in time to see 7 power and 6 toughness arrive on the battlefield.
So this worm here is definitely the biggest, baddest thumper. Being faced down by a lonely Saproling.
So a question I'm often asking myself. How big a vanilla creature has to be for it to be played? So for 6 mana, how big should it be? So is 7/6 the best you can get? Of course you could have more, but is it the best deal you can have?
I mean, you're not excited about your 9/3, are you, at 5, Yargle?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Back when Reflector Mage was around, you would try to see how big a 4 mana creature would be for it to be playable. Like 4 mana vanilla creature.
Okay, and there is, in fact, the match to Florian Krau. That Primordial Worm was just about the nail in the coffin, or the worm in the coffin at least. So Florian Krau wins. So why don't we see if we can take a look at our third table, because we've seen a bit of Christoph Huber and Alessandro Portaro. Let's see what's going on in Adrian Vogt against Giannato Dalfara. Updating live totals. Max down there on the floor, keeping an eye on all 3 matches at once, which is bit of a task. So he's down there with that. So we'll head to table C when we get a moment. And here we are.
Finally, a game that looks favorable to the Italian team.
Yeah, nice. Looks like a nice little curve out here for Giannato Dalfara. Benalish on a guard, one of the very many mighty knights, and here they are again. Call the cavalry, in they come. The mighty 2/2 vigilance creatures. Get it done, boys.
What? It's a bit early for getting excited about the old 2/2 vigilance, isn't it?
Never unexcited to see the knight creature type represented at the highest level of tournament play.
Wait. There's a family thing going on.
Oh, this is
okay.
This
okay,
is
that's
a rich
fine.
and storied bloodline.
Fine.
So, all-out attack now for Giannato Dalfara. This creature's really putting in some work.
I have to say at the beginning, I was not a fan of Keldon Raider, but I grew to love this card because 4/3 for 4 in other formats, meh.
Yeah, we've seen it. The Yeti, the old.
Still meh. The dinosaur. Was the dinosaur that was?
No, it was in Council Attack.
3/4. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, still meh.
Yeah.
But since this format is all about little advantages,
tiny edges.
Tiny edges. Yeah.
Yep.
Getting rid of a land for another card is something you don't expect from a beatdown creature, because 4/3 it's can do some damage.
So unfortunately, the cavalry arriving didn't do too much here for Adrian Vogt, although it did provoke Giannato Dalfara to empty out his hand of a couple of tricks here, but it's going to be enough for Dalfara to push through and finally put the Italians on the scoreboard here now.
A lot of you people died that turn.
So, yes, yeah, it was well, I mean, also the Benalish Honor Guard on Dalfara's side of town also brought home honor and glory for the Knight Tribe, so we're all very happy about that. And take them where we can get them.
So 1-1, and why don't we... we'll see what's going on table 1. That's Alessandro Portaro against Christoph Huber. Get a chance to get a look in at their second game over there. There you see the tables. Alessandro Portaro in the red shirt nearest us on the far end. the middle table, they're just sitting and watching both ways. They've got a good seat in the house. You often, Raf, when you've played teams, do you deliberately put your, air quotes, best player in the middle seat with the idea of being able to look left and right to give advice?
I think it really depends on their personalities, because some players do not like to be coached.
Oh, yeah.
Some players do not like their games to be watched. So you have to put what I think is that you have to put the middle player to be a guy that doesn't care if people watch their games.
We saw this.
For example,
okay.
I hate to be in the middle because I don't like people to look at my games. I'm much better in the zone. When someone comes over and say, "Oh, you should do this," like, you lost. I lost focus. I'm not in my game anymore.
Right.
I'd
So
rather be
you
on the
want to
far
be
end.
on an end.
Yeah, I want to be on an end.
Mm-hmm.
Most famously, Rich, we've seen this at team events like at the World Championship at the end of the team series.
Right.
Kentaro Yamamoto in
Oh,
Team Musashi.
Sure.
He had the option to be surrounded by these players, and in Team Genesis, the other guys are there. They're surrounding Martin Dang. They're all
Yes.
over both shoulders.
It was a proper three-headed
It was an
giant,
actual.
wasn't it?
It was 3 versus 1, and Kantaro's there like, I ain't bothered. I don't need anyone here.
I got this, my friends.
And I was just because I'm standing behind Kentaro, I'm thinking, what's going on here? Like, is he?
Do they not like him?
Have they had a
spat
row
row?
over breakfast?
Yeah.
You know, did he take the last chocolate croissant at the breakfast buffet?
Yeah. We're underway by the looks of things, or just about to be underway on Table A. So we'll get down. Christoph Huber, of course, no stranger to feature matches. He's had a very successful career in Magic, round about a decade ago, the most of his success. He leads 1-0, and not a lot has gone on, it's fair to say.
Whole lot of nothing going on here between these two players. Once again, a hallmark of this limited format.
It's
You
very
do have a little
very
bit more
common.
breathing room here.
It's very common in this format to just pass for them, and electing to play second is an option that's not to be dismissed right away, because in the early game, if you don't think your opponent is going to go for the aggression, you might just want to draw this extra card that will be relevant in the later game. Also, drawing your 4th land, not being stuck at 3 is important. And with 17 lands, sometimes it's hard if you don't have draw spells. And there are not a lot of draw spells. They're not cycling cards, so you have to actually draw the card.
Once again, I would refer people to the excellent article written by Polavita Damida Rosa. He touched upon that topic as well, Raf, and a very useful piece of insight for anyone hoping to succeed in this format here. So Icy Manipulator for Alessandro Portaro, Dark Bargain here for Christoph Huber. Not a lot of other stuff going on. I think we've seen a divest.
The Zahid.
And another Dark Bargain
Chin
here.
up the lamp. Got divested. Do not invest in Zahid.
No.
Not very...
Sell. Liquidate all stocks,
Sick,
because that guy is not going anywhere right now, stuck in the bin. Won't be coming back. No way, no how. Do you like this card?
Oh, yeah. It's from... it's almost a reprint. Almost. Just the stats and the casting cost.
and the art and the name.
and the creature type.
And the flavor text.
You know, from who? You know, the original one.
Mahatamodi?
Yeah. Hamodi Jin.
Easy game.
Do you know what's not better than a 5/6 fly for 6 mana, Riley? It's a 4/4 fly for 7 mana.
Yes, that is true.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Do you know what the first gen was printed? Where it was printed?
I don't know. Beef eaters.
Yeah?
Go on. What is it?
I don't know. I'm asking you. It's a trivia question.
Oh my God.
It's a trivia question. I know.
Got no idea.
I know the answer.
I've been playing Magic about 15 minutes compared to you.
So I give you 2 options. Is it
Here's another Malice now.
Arabian Nights or a Beta?
I'll say
gin.
Arabian Nights.
You got it wrong. It was Beta.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Even though the gin's got a lot of gins in the Arabian.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking like there's a thematic tie-in there.
I think what we need is trivia that's better, to be honest.
that is very true. That is very true. Yeah.
Tajamez 1337 says, "This commentary, I think you're spot on there, my
Yep.
friend."
Yeah. This is certainly commentary. Here's Baird, the steward of Agave.
So Hexproof from white does not do anything against Bear.
No, and this is the new take on protection, isn't it? This is what we're seeing instead of protection. We're seeing hexproof from X, and it's been met with a fair bit of approval so far from concerned parties.
Protection is just too good.
You're living in Scotland now, aren't you, Riley?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so Baird, clearly Scottish, right?
Yeah.
It's Baird, the steward of Archive.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, yeah.
I think you'll find you have to pay one, mate.
Yes, quite.
Here's the Eldest Reborn, though, so Baird's not going to get too much done here.
So now the card does something. The Eldest Reborn. Finally, 5 mana gets rid of a 4-drop.
Was Baird scared?
Baird was scared. He's off to bed.
Cloud Reader Sphinx.
Can he unrest his head?
Kind of happy I can't follow these jokes.
Yeah.
Very.
It's good that someone is paying attention to the actual mechanics of the game of Magic the Gathering that's going on here. Cloud Reader Sphinx a nice one. Add common as well. It's a really a way for blue decks to lock up the skies, filter those draws. I mean, and especially Scry 2 at this stage of the game, it's can really clear the junk away. But a cast down is going to mean that it's not going to hustle and bustle this time around.
Well, this time around, the Eldest Reborn is doing a lot of work. Getting rid of Gideon's Reproach.
Oh, yeah.
Cloud Reader Sphinx. And next turn is going to bring back probably a Sphinx. I don't know what's...
Well, no, bring back the Djinn.
Oh, yeah, the Djinn.
Oh,
Djinn is good.
yeah.
Maybe the Sphinx actually better.
Pour yourself some of that Schweppes tonic. Get that Djinn, mate.
Depends how... depends how important he values the Scry.
Well, a 5/6 in the air is going to be very difficult for Portaro to answer.
6 mana. Is it a wizard?
Well, he is holding
it is a wizard.
Now, there's something here for Huber to take note of. The fact that we have... Oh,
Syncopate and
Calico
Bless
Skin
Light
Witch.
Gone
yeah.
to the Calico Skin Witch.
Okay.
Such a brutal card.
Yeah, that is actually quite horrific. I was going to say here, because Huber saw that Portaro discarded the Gideon's Reproach, he would think, well, if that's his worst card, he must be holding absolute straight gasoline here. But Blessed Light was going to be the answer to anything that Huber brought back with the Eldest Reborn. So Portaro's in a world of pain here.
So this is the kind of card that costs 2 in this format. You can have 2/2s that do nothing.
Yep.
Grizzly Bear. And you have this card. So 1/3. In the early game, you block 2/2s. And the late game, you take care of 2 removal.
Yeah, it's a fantastic card.
I love this card. I was not sold when I first saw it, and then I saw it played. I was like, oh yeah, this is what the format is about.
Super gross, by the way. If anyone's interested in finding more about what the Skin Witches do, you can find it. MTG Story is going to get you across that one. But I warn you, super gross. Here's the Eldest Reborn going to pop off now, and Huber considers his options.
What they bake in the pot?
Cloud Reader Sphinx.
Huh.
How?
Wow.
Okay, so
Who called that one?
well, yes, obviously you're very good, but I'm going to just be honest and say I don't get that. Why do you not take? There's the 3/4 with a bit of scry, and here's the alternative. Here it comes.
2/2. So
Why do you take the Cloud Reader?
because you scry. You get a scry.
And it's that much of a difference. It's worth 2 power and 2 toughness.
Well, let's see what's on the board. It's 2, 3. He has, and there's an Icy Manipulator on the other side, so it wouldn't attack anyway.
Sure.
So might as well get it tapped and scry too.
So if you're Portaro, do you therefore assume that because he's gone for the Cloud Reader, that he will never have an answer to the Icy Manipulator? Or very few, at least.
No, he will just find more active cards. I think it's that much more important.
Okay.
Goblin Chainwhirler now, following up that rampaging Cyclops here. And Huber really looking to seal the deal on this one.
Yeah, there's not a lot of cards that would turn this game around. The only card that would actually do something.
In Bowler's Clutches? Not a bad one.
No, not this one.
Oh, look at this. Portaro says, I will have that Cloud Reader Sphinx back. Thank you very much.
Urza's Ruinous Blast would be the only card that would actually do something here. But you need a legendary creature to cast
Which
it.
he now has.
Yes, in Bowler's Clutch. Because now...
Because the creature is now legendary. Oh my god, that'd be so good.
That'd be insane.
That'd be spicy. Yeah.
That would be so good.
That would be absolutely
that's the first part of the puzzle.
All right, first piece. Lock it in.
So last night I drafted a double Urza's Ruinous Blast deck. And was paired against the mono legend deck. Like 4-color legends.
Super.
That didn't work out.
Yeah, that's
for
great.
me.
Oh, no.
Okay, so no more legends.
Okay. Shivan Fire kicked. Means that there's going to be no Blockskis here for Portaro, and Huber's going to get in for a bunch. And a follow-up play too. Oh my goodness. Urza's Tome. You like this card, Raph?
Oh, look at this. If Christoph had taken the Djinn, then Alessandro would have taken the Djinn with the clutch.
Yes.
And then he wouldn't have been, Christoph would not have been able to kill it with the
Shivan's Fire.
So
Perfectly played.
extra good reason to
Oh,
bring back the 3-4 instead of the 5-6.
Played around the in-bolus's clutches perfectly here.
He read it.
Bit of turtle power now for Alessandro Portaro. The old
Expert
snapperino.
Expert magic here.
high magic at the highest level. But Rich, things not looking good for the Italian here.
No.
Don't bring back things that you can't kill yourself. That would be the.
Now, bear in mind
role.
that if Huber does win this game, that is the round to Huber, Krauer, and Vogt, because Krauer has already defeated Luca Cassidy, and that Table C match between Adrian Vogt and Giannato D'Alfaro will not matter. So if this goes the way of Christoph Huber, we'll come back to the booth, we'll set up for Time Warp match, and we'll bring you more action from round 2 after a quick break. But first, Christoph Huber, the man who takes Cloud Reader Sphinx, over Zahid, Jinn of the Lamp, because he sees the future, apparently.
Yeah.
Is trying
because
to
he
get
made
it
a
done.
good play.
Yeah, fantastic.
Oh, look at this guy. We talked about it.
And a Gitu Chronicler here now.
Talked about it last game.
Going to rebuy. Is he going to rebuy a Dark Bargain here?
Is there a fight? No, Fight with Fire was in game 1, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, a
Divest.
Divest. All right. Going to cast it immediately. What do you got?
Sarah
Sarah Angel as well. Christoph Huber
Bang.
cannot put a foot wrong.
But this one you have to have right. When was Sarah Angel first printed?
Oh, Alpha.
Was it Arabian Night or Alpha?
Alpha.
Okay, you got it right. Finally, you got one question
Attacking it does not cause it to tap.
right. That's right.
Attacking with it, sorry, does not cause it to tap. This card's great.
Creatures without flying can't block it. Can't block flying. Which one of
Card's
these?
so good.
No, it doesn't say that.
It's good in Alpha, it's great now.
I'll tell you what. 4/4 flying and vigilance for 5 mana. That's quite a bit better than 4/4 flying with no ability for 7 mana, isn't it?
It's just weird that they've printed in white. That's the only thing that I find confusing about the card.
I think it's blue.
No, I don't know. It's got. I'm really not sure what its color identity should be, to be honest.
We just naturally
black,
assume
black
that.
green.
We
Should
just
be
naturally assume that. Oh my good lord!
Oh, sorry.
Jeez. Raphael Levy just takes that joke straight down to the funeral parlor.
Nah, that's. I think it's black green.
Icy Manipulator taps down the rampaging Cyclops. It will not be able to attack this turn because it is now tapped. Wrench that back to the gameplay.
I'm the one telling the end of the jokes before people finish.
It's
Oh yeah,
cool.
no, that's one. This one.
This Cold Water Snapper is doing a lot of work to hold down the board here. 4/5 hexproof. And a Fiery Intervention is going to take care of that Icy Manipulator once again. So we've seen Shatter mode activated on the intervention twice now.
That turtle is doing quite some work here. But this is where Urza's Tome is taking over. Being able to sift your draws.
Filter through those draws. Even just drawing extra cards. We saw the Eldest Reborn exiled to the Urza's Tome, which means that Huber is already up a card. Here's a big attack. He doesn't give a damn. He's going to attack with everything. In they come.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 damage down to 1. That giant. Yeah.
And away goes the Cyclops now. Portaro hanging by a thread. Huber poised to snatch victory. For his, not just for himself, but for his team here.
With Memorial to Folly as well on Christoph's side.
Oh, geez.
Hiding under a swamp there.
9 mana now, and it's a fight with fire. I'll do 10 damage to you, my friend. You're on 1. And that is that.
Yeah, so that's going to do it. Adrian Vogt and Giannato D'Alfaro, they've got all sorts of permanents on the battlefield. We do not care. We're going to come back to the booth because that is game, set, and match. By the way, Fight with Fire, that's just not a good name for a card. There is no fight. There is only fire.
Yeah.
It's just that's dead, or they're all dead, or you're dead.
Yeah, that's the way that it goes.
That's not a fight. If it was a fight, there'd be a referee going, and we're going to stop it there, thanks everyone. That's done. Technical knockout, off we go. Anyway, there we are. That's the end of our main match here. We're in MTG launch. Rich, Riley, Raf. God, that's hard to say. Triple red. We're kind of goblin chain whirler between us. It turns out RRR.
The perfect booster. Triple res. 3 res.
Triple red. Yeah, 3 very rares. So let's head off for a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more action from round number 2. Hello everyone, welcome back to GP Bologna coverage. Rich, Riley and Raf here with you. We're gearing up for Time Walk in round number 2. But Raf, this is our first chance to talk about your expectations for the weekend. How do you see the format shaping up in Team Sealed specifically?
From what I've seen, it doesn't look very different from the draft format. I was hearing here and there that aggressive decks would be much more aggressive. The red deck, the mono red deck, or the white red equipment would just tear apart all the control decks. But it just turns out it's not necessarily true. So the decks are just going to be slower than in usual limited, and this shows what I thought it was.
Right, I mean, I guess if you open up, Riley, with, let's say, Navigator's Compass on 1, Misa Unicorn on 2 in a grindy mid to late deck, you're starting at 26 with a 2-2 blocker in play. You're not at 20 against a 2-1, a 2-2, and a 3-2 after 2 turns of yours. So I guess that makes a certain amount of sense.
Sure, there are a ton of reasons in this format to be defensive. There are a ton of reasons to play slowly. I mean, Navigator's Compass I wouldn't say is one of them, because
sure,
that can stay straight in the garbage. But I see what you mean. Like, essentially, I think Frank Carsten pointed out the fact that the average toughness is higher than the average power.
Right.
Creatures tend to come down a little bit later than most than we've seen, especially in recent formats, Rivals of Ixalan, what have you. And that means that generally gameplay takes a more defensive bent.
All right, well, we've got Time Walk ready, so let's head down. We're going to go from the start of the match, see how far we get. You're going to see the Norwegian team of Sveinung Bjornerud, Andreas Nordahl, and his slightly lesser known and less successful in terms of MTG career, Espen Nordahl, because Andreas Nordahl has been in the thick of day 3s at Pro Tour level, against a French team of Alexandre Aurillac, Aurélie Violette, and Mathieu Laguerre. Which is, Laguerre is war in French, Raf?
The war, yeah.
Yeah. Matthew the War.
Yeah, I know Alexandre from my hometown. He's from Toulouse, yeah. He's been qualified for a few PTs.
Fantastic start for Andreas Nordahl here with an Alana Orel's more or less exactly what you want on turn number 1 here, and that's powered out a turn 2 2/2 flyer. And we were talking about the fact that decks can be quite defensive and sort of late game oriented, but getting in the air with an aggressive start like this is a great place to be. But it's already been brick walled here, Raf.
That's the thing. Not really. Like having this aggressive draw, it's still 2020 and nothing happened. And now these cards are going to be pretty much irrelevant till for the rest of the game.
Well, Violette's got an aggressive option here with Jousting Lance.
The Pegasus, though, that's a different story, because it's very good in the early game, because it stops their aggression from decks that want to be aggressive. But then it gives flying, and flying that makes all you bad creatures from the early game a lot more threatening. Like the 3/1 Knight.
Knight of New Benalia.
Knight of New Benalia is not something I usually want to play.
But chuck it up in the air?
It's much better. It's actually, in this format, it's actually much better than usual, because, well, the creatures are 1/3. Like, I'd rather have a 3/1 than a 2/2 in this format. Usually, 2/2 is usually better, but a 3/1 would trade for a 1/3, and in this format it's better. Also, it would trade for a 2/3, which normally it's bad. A Tall Iron Scholar, not a card you want to play, but in this format against aggressive decks, it's a big wall. Ooh, look at this guy. Andreas
Nordahl now has just had a blinding start here. Not only have we had Lana Worrells into Windrake, we've also had a Mammoth Spider cast, and now Khan's a Sign of Urza. So just going from strength to strength here, Nordahl is a swing for the fences now. And Violetta has to pick which card's going to go into hand and which card's going to go into exile. Island given to Nordahl now. And Cloud Reader Sphinx exiled with a silver counter on it. And Khan, the Sign of Urza, one of the marquee cards from the set, Rich.
Yeah, just absolutely fantastic. Incidentally, tonight on Extra Turns at the end of round 8, I'll be having a very special guest in the commentary booth with me as we watch some Unseen Magic at 4 times the speed, because obviously that's what we do in Extra Turns. So very special guest coming your way, something that you will not want to miss.
So I shouldn't give it away this time?
You should not, no. Or next time.
All right.
So Violetta now with her work cut out for a tricky uphill battle against this mighty Planeswalker.
And the Mammoth Spider is doing a very good job at keeping this card around.
I love this creature.
Yeah,
I think it's so good.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it should be.
No.
Because 3/5 isn't where you want to be at 5 mana, and you think, am I really spending that much? But yes, you are, and it's great. It is a terrific card.
Nodal's is going to draw extra cards every turn here. Violetta is going to have a very, very difficult time to get any damage in here. And the Cyan Burner Urza really doing some work. Cloud Reader Sphinx now. This is the second Cloud Reader Sphinx here for Nodal. Scries 2. A Broken Bond.
That's the first one. The other one is Exile. Which card?
Sure, second one that we've seen, I should say.
All right.
Broken Bond in the main here, Raf. Are we main decking disenchant effects?
That's
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
I would say 50-50.
Really that low?
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
It really depends on your deck, I think.
Right.
Depends if you have room for removal, how you plan to play the early game and the late game. If you have enough ways to finish the game, then you might want to have an artifact on enchantment removal just to make sure you get there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, if you really struggle to find win conditions, then you might not want to fill your deck with reactive cards like this.
Benelish Honor Guard coming in.
Yeah, and you see all these aggressive cards that are just blocked by a 3/5.
Mm-hmm.
You clean everything on Andrew's side, you keep the Mammoth Spider, then it still has the advantage. Well, not the advantage, but he's not getting attacked anytime soon.
So Nordal is just drawing card after card after card here. They've all been lands, but I mean, hey, you take what you can get.
Yeah, and when he gets to 9 lands, he will... 8 lands.
Start kicking out Crows and Druids.
He will gain 10 life.
And 10 life.
From the Druids.
So Nordal here is just... It looks to have this one all locked up. What are the percentages here, do you think?
I don't know, about 90.
90%?
Yeah.
It's looking pretty good here for Nordal. Not only does he have this Planeswalker, he's defending it. He's in no hurry at all. Stack of extra cards. More cards from Khan should he need them. And Violetta, I think, is going to deploy another 2-drop in the form of a Jousting Lance. Does that change things up at all?
This Cross and Druid is probably the most... how to say that? Heartbreaking card on the when you're on the aggressive side of the board. The 2/3 for 3 is already hard for your 2/2s to get through. And then they get the late game, you put them down to 7, like, okay, well, there might be a chance. They top 8, like, okay, let's just I'm fine with 5/5 or 6/6, and they go, no, it's just a 2/3.
Just a 2/3.
But I'll go up to 17 just in case. That's very heartbreaking.
Nordal, however, is looking to deploy another threat now. It's going to be another Cloud Reader Sphinx. Leaves up as very suspicious double blue there. And
Wizard's Retort mana,
Mm-hmm.
or potentially Wizard's Retort mana.
He doesn't have
He doesn't have a wizard. No.
We can still got 3 mana.
Now it's Wizard's Retort mana.
No, it's got the Llanowar Elves as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
With the Forest in hand, that mystery is solved. Murphic Trickster also.
Gideon's Reproach.
Okay.
How do you like the ability on Llanowar Elves, Riley? I know it's probably a new card to you here in Dominaria.
I have to say, I understand the new templating, and I know that you're having a bit of a giggle here, Rich, which is unlike you. But
just a little bit, yeah.
The new templating with just add green, do not like.
Okay.
I don't like it. I guess it's just one of those things. It's fine, and I support it and understand why it exists, because it makes cards cleaner and it's just removing letters that don't need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks off.
You know what? How
looks
it
a bit
should
naked.
You know how it should look.
With the space on the right.
Yeah.
It should look like Dread Harbor.
Just a big green thing.
There's a big green symbol.
And if we could pull back the art on the Llanowar Elves as well to make it less obvious.
Excuse me just a moment, chat. Don't listen to this. Guys, I sent you an email about this. We don't say the words Dryad Arbor when there's a chat room open. Ever. Stop it.
Who brought it up?
Hi, everyone.
I think it's Riley. Why did you bring it up?
Just to clarify, and this is actually probably important, Rich, if people haven't got across this, there has been an update to tournament guidelines for how to play with cards like Dryad Arbor. That deals with the problematic situations. We don't have to go too deep on it,
sure.
But for those who are interested or concerned about this issue, there is now an official piece of policy that's been put out about mana rocks, about creatures that tap for mana, all that sort of stuff. And there's now a very clear rule set that guides it. So I think really good just for the game.
Great, good stuff. So, meanwhile, we are still at 20-17. My lord, this set's grindy, apparently. As we've got a Sarah Angel now on the right-hand side for Oralee. And somehow, despite the fact that Khan has been sitting there since Tuesday, we're still going on.
Karn is not the kind of planeswalkers that just take over the game. It slowly grinds. You get lands. You're sure to never miss a land drop till the end of the game. And then around turn, I don't know, 15, you get to find the cards you want.
So basically it's Khan's Sai on and on and on and on.
Yep. Nice Manipulator put under the Khan here, as we see Nordal with another forest. So, as we said, never missing a land drop for the rest of eternity. Yeah. And Clattery's Sphinx is going to get in. That Sarah Angel has been chucked in the freezer, the deep freeze, turning the 4/4 into a 0/4 with no abilities. Nordal's going to follow up this attack with
Frozen Angels. That sounds like a treat or something.
Yeah, Frozen Angel.
Yeah.
Just $2.99. And here's a Primordial Worm.
What is a clutch of Bolus in Andrea's hands.
In Bolus's clutches?
Yeah, in Andrea's clutches. Hands.
In Andreas's clutches?
So whatever Aurélie is going to play, the best card, if she ever plays something that's relevant, it's going to be stolen. Yeah, this is not a relevant card.
There's an Aether Glider. And the Lance is going to be moved over now.
The Lance from France. Where's that a quote from?
The Lance from France?
Yeah. Where's that quote from?
Is it Monty Python?
No, it isn't. Paul Bettany does it.
Really?
That's a line Paul Bettany utters in a well-known movie starring Heath Ledger.
Oh, the National Treasure.
Yeah.
So Karn again? Oh, is he going to...
Going to take that
Ice
Manipulator.
Yeah,
nice one here for Nordal.
I think at some point, that's a piece of history of Magic. It was stated that Icy Manipulator from Beta was the Mirari.
Oh, was the actual Mirari?
Yeah. It was stated in, I think Mark Rosewater said that at some point. Because it looked so much like the Mirari from Odyssey. Looked so much like Icy Manipulator that he stated that Icy was the actual Mirari. But not in this game.
More cards, please, says Andreas Nordal.
Because I'm really struggling for value this game.
I've only got 5 cards in hand. It's going to be 2 islands off the top now. And I think Nordal is now just checking the size of his library. He's drawn so many extra cards. Llanowar Elves, in addition to a...
Candle?
Yes, it is indeed the candle there. Very, very slow Blood Tello Candle. Another card that is just glacial in getting it done, but it's a nice... I mean, it's a cheap historic card, which counts for something, and its effect, although expensive, costs 6 to give a creature -5/-5. Still gets it done, eventually. I really like Nordal's deck, though.
Yeah, of course, the beauty of the team format is that we've been assuming for a long time that Andreas Nordal is going to win this, but from Aurélee's point of view, if Alexandra and Mattia can come back in their games, she can go ahead and lose to Andreas Nordal and to Khan and to all kinds of broken valueness. It doesn't matter. You win 2 out of the 3, that's good enough for the round. So all is not lost, but they are up against it very definitely.
Yes, Svani Bronnirud and Espen Nordal both up a game. People may be familiar with Bjornarund. He is very, very active on Twitter with a lot of stats, Rich. I know that you get across the stuff that he puts out.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Great stuff. We're at a GP where he had a feature match and no one else at the table knew that that's who he was, and when everyone realized, they gave him a round of applause in the feature match area before he began. It's like, you're that guy, fantastic, I love seeing what you do. Just one small part of a fantastic and vibrant Magic community.
Yeah, terrific dude, and even if you aren't actively aware of having seen or consumed the stuff that he's put out, you at some point almost certainly have, purely because of the impact, the spread of the stuff that he comes up with. Right,
because you'll have read a tweet by Pat Cox or Josh Adder-Layton or Louis Scott Vargas or me going, apparently so-and-so's into the top 25 or so-and-so's done this or new world #1, whatever it is. He's a great service to particularly the pro community.
Oh, and this is not good stuff here for Violetta as we see Broken Bond remove that seal away, which did blank the attack from the Cloud Reader Sphinx. That's easy for me to say. But Nordal gets to re-trigger that Scry 2 with the Broken Bond. Didn't put a land into play.
Land number 13.
Decided he didn't need that 13th land. Surprising.
And she backs up.
Blood Tello Candle is going to be enough here. As we said, sealing the deal here for Aurelia.
So while we're
Violetta.
moving to the other game, there was one thing I noticed in that game that you probably didn't notice since you started playing like in the late, I don't know, 2000, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So when he tapped the permanent with the icy,
yeah,
he put a land under it. He took both cards and tapped the land. Like
he had the land like reserved just for the icy manipulator.
And back in the days, you would play like this. You had your lands in the back, the icy manipulator, and the land right next to it. So it would just like tap something, like use one motion to tap everything.
To tap
that was the land assigned to the icy manipulator. It's just,
that's very cool.
Brings back memories.
That's a little throwback there.
Yeah, just so you know, Raf Levy beat me in a Pro Tour last century.
Yeah, last millennia.
Last millennia, indeed. Yes.
Yeah.
Almost as old as Urza.
Almost.
When he died.
If you hear the crinkling of plastic wrappers, it is Raf Levy reaching for his bag of Werther's Originals.
I bet there's about 3 people on Earth who get that reference,
and
I'm one of them.
I get that one.
I hope the other two enjoyed it.
I get that one.
I hope the other one enjoyed it.
Obviously they're in chat.
It's been Nordal. So you mind a pair of Avon Sentries here. Laguerre is on that Saproling plan, however. Looks to be a good one for him too.
So what are the odds of a team coming back from 3-1-0?
Well, assuming that they're 50-50 in any given game, if you want to do that, then it's 1 in 2, 1 in 4, 1 in 8, 1 in 16, 1 in 32, 1 in 64. So if you like, round about 1.5%.
I think, no. Did you count that?
They have to win 6 games in a row at 50-50.
No, they can win 4.
Ah, sure. Okay, so that makes it, yeah. So that for the clean sweep.
Yeah.
That's right. But they can't. Yeah, so the first thing is they cannot lose any of the next 4 matches. So maybe 3%.
No, they can.
So for those of you who like things other than numbers.
That's why I'm asking the question. It wouldn't be so easy.
In front of us here. Avon Sentry has been lifted up by angels.
I think
we
Frank
have a sword shot on top of it as well.
Frank made the math at some point, so I'm pretty sure someone in the chat can find it for us.
I want to make it clear that that was not my voice singing. It's in my contract. I'm not allowed to.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been Raf because he's got too much self-respect. So that means it had to have been you, Riley.
Mate, I grew up listening to the dulcet tones of Johnny Farnham, and every time I see this stupid card on Sarah's wings, lifted up by angels, my friends. Albert,
Pierce the
no!
sky.
Oh, dearie, dear.
No!
The legendary bird.
Gets taken down here. 7 damage is going to clean things up nicely here.
That was a highlight moment there for sure.
Jeez.
Bringing the water flyers.
No, but Mathieu also had an eviscerate, so that was the only thing that kept him from attacking.
So the short sword gets chucked over to the other Avon Sentry now. So Nordal did manage to get a hit in with that on Sarah's wings, and that can sometimes be all you need. Eviscerate taking care of the only 3-2, but now Laguerre can get on the front foot, live up to his name. And off we go, attacking with all these little 1-1s and 2-2s and what have you.
And Nordal's left with the single least historic thing ever. It's one of the 253,000 short swords that got made last year.
Yeah, and he's going to pack him up as well. So Laguerre begins the comeback here, even after having got in with those Avon Sentries. Not enough, and Laguerre has started that comeback train. We'll see if he can keep it rolling now. Back to Andreas Nordal and Aurelia Violetta here.
Another piece of trivia, Riley.
Okay.
What's the first?
We've all loved it so far.
Of short sword.
What's the first example of short sword?
Yeah, first iteration.
Is short sword a reprint?
It technically, yeah. Not the name.
But but like just a 1-mana equipment that equip one that gives +1/+1.
And how many of these have been printed?
Raph, I don't know. I don't know. And you know what? I don't need any help to be made to look like a fool. You're certainly doing a great job of it, though.
I wouldn't worry. You're just leaving room in your brain for important stuff.
Yes, that's it. Think of all those spare gigabytes and gigabytes that I've got to, memorize John Farnham lyrics from when I was playing Lego as a 6-year-old.
So that's Leonin Scimitar. That's the first short sword.
For those playing at home.
So I can tell you that pairings are up for round number 3, and there is no way we're getting through the whole of this game. So I think what we better do is bring it back to the booth, and we can tell you what happened through the magic of technology. I can confirm that the Norwegian trio of Bjornerud, Nordahl and Nordahl got the job done. So they advance to 2-0. So Raf, it's starting to look like we're in for a bit of a grind fest here on day 1.
A what?
A grind fest. That's a made-up word that involves games of Magic that take a long time.
Okay.
Excuse me. Riley.
Yes.
It's starting to look like we're heading for a bit of a grind fest.
Rich, this is emblematic of the Dominaria format. We see this games built on tiny edges. Players who are able to use cards to just get that extra 1 or 2%. And you're absolutely right in sort of characterizing it as a grind fest. There tends to be one of the axes on which you've got to navigate and plan out the way you're going to these matches here.
Okay, I'm going to go and teach Raf about grind fests.
I understand now. I understand. I just thought it was you meant something different.
You can stop now. And we'll be right back with round number 3.